There are moments in life when reality shifts so quietly you almost miss the sound it makes. A notification. A vibration. A single line of text that changes the meaning of everything that comes after it. Mine arrived on a completely ordinary Tuesday afternoon while I was sitting at my desk pretending to focus on work and counting the minutes until I could go home. When my phone buzzed, I barely glanced at it at first. I expected a delivery update or a reminder about a bill. Something small. Something forgettable. Instead, the message from my bank sat at the top of the screen in calm, polite wording that made the sentence feel even more surreal. Suspicious purchase detected, Coffin, £2,184.99. For a long moment, I simply stared at the words, waiting for them to rearrange themselves into something logical. A joke. A scam. A mistake. But the text stayed exactly the same, and the longer I looked at it, the heavier the air around me began to feel. I opened my banking app with trembling hands, convinced the alert had to be fraud, yet the transaction sat there in my recent activity as calmly as if it had always belonged. The merchant name was a funeral supply company in a town I had never visited, and the timestamp showed the purchase had been made only minutes earlier. Fraud is supposed to feel random, chaotic, impersonal. This felt deliberate. This felt aimed. I stepped outside to call the bank, needing distance from the noise of the office and the illusion that everything was still normal. The representative spoke in a calm, rehearsed voice that contrasted painfully with the panic rising in my chest. She confirmed the purchase had been flagged automatically and assured me my card would be frozen immediately. When I asked if they could tell where the coffin was being delivered, there was a pause long enough for dread to creep in before she explained they didn't always have access to shipping details. The call ended politely, professionally, and completely without comfort. That evening, the confirmation email arrived. It was addressed directly to me, using my full name and home address with perfect accuracy. The message thanked me for my order and included a detailed invoice describing a polished oak coffin with silver handles and satin interior lining. The formality of the language made the situation feel disturbingly official, as if someone had carefully organized the logistics of my fear. Then I saw the delivery date. Tomorrow. Sleep didn't come that night. Every creak of the house sounded louder than usual. Every passing car felt like it might slow to a stop outside. I replayed the day over and over, searching for any explanation that made sense. But nothing about the situation felt random. The coffin wasn't being sent somewhere far away. It was being delivered directly to my home. The van arrived just after midday, its engine humming softly outside as if trying not to draw attention. Watching it pull into my driveway felt like watching a scene from someone else's life. Two delivery workers stepped out and began unloading a long rectangular crate with the quiet efficiency of people completing an ordinary task. When they knocked on the door and asked me to sign for the delivery, the moment felt so surreal that my movements became slow and mechanical, like I was acting out instructions I didn't remember receiving. The crate sat in the center of my living room long after the van disappeared down the street. It dominated the space with its silent presence, turning the familiar room into something unfamiliar and tense. I circled it several times, searching for signs of a mistake, but every label confirmed what I already knew. This had been meant for me. Opening the crate felt like crossing a boundary I couldn't uncross. The lid lifted slowly, revealing polished wood gleaming under the light, the satin lining untouched and waiting. Resting neatly inside was a small envelope with my name written across the front in handwriting I didn't recognize. My hands trembled as I opened it and unfolded the paper inside. The note contained only one sentence. You have 7 days. From that moment on, time stopped feeling abstract and started feeling loud. Every ticking second felt heavier than the last. Messages began arriving at night, each one confirming the countdown was real. Cameras appeared where there had been none before. Footsteps lingered outside the house longer than they should. And slowly, painfully, the truth began to surface. Years ago, I had been involved in something I convinced myself was an accident. A moment I buried so deeply I almost believed it had disappeared. But secrets don't stay buried forever. Sometimes they wait. Sometimes they plan. And sometimes they send you a coffin to let you know the clock has finally run out. On the 7th day, another van arrived outside my house. And this time, it wasn't empty.